There were three learnings that I derived from there. One is that there are a very niche category of B2B influencers that can be very impactful, even in what people would consider a niche like construction. So that's interesting to know. The second you mentioned is the importance of being a thought leader in your industry, which is so instead of just trying to sell your construction material, just trying to be an expert in the field, show that you know your industry and you know the use cases of your product and what problems they're solving. So that's interesting to know. And third, you mentioned the change in buyer behavior. Instead of the traditional calls that maybe they were used to, they're now also searching online. So the importance of being present online and having a strong SEO and having a strong online presence. Hello and welcome to episode 20 of the Exponential Show. Today, it is a pleasure of mine to introduce Kunjiap, who is the Managing Director at MicroFiber Industries. Thank you, Kunjiap, for taking the time to speak with us on the Exponential Show.
Thank you for coming to our office as well. And then I think it would be my great honor to share the experience to you. Yeah.
We look forward to the conversation. Let's just start with something that we ask all our guests is about your background. And I know you have a very illustrious background, especially when it comes to marketing. So if you could maybe give us a sneak peek into some of the major career milestones that you've had until your current role at MicroFiber.
I think that I have both B2C background and also B2B background. So I start my career for consumer electronics for Panasonic brand.
Interesting.
For 6 years. I think for me, good thing that I start from like export marketing. So that's why it's make me grow the career for the regional marketing level at the end. So I would like to highlight on the experience in Panasonic that I was taking care of the home appliance, the small one for beauty and healthcare appliance at the beginning when they launched in Thailand. You might familiar with like the hair dryer or the electric shaver, electric toothbrush, but that was like 20 years, more than 20 years ago, which is quite new to Thai market. Wow. So at that time, we are the team were opening on the modern trade accounts, which is like Power Buy, Power Mall, the one that you still see it today. Yeah, but at that time, it's only some channels that we can penetrate. And then I moved to the baby product from Japan as well, pigeon products.
Oh wow!
Okay. Yeah, and then later on moved to Nestle for the pasteurized product like drinking yogurt, cup yogurt, pasteurized fruit juice, but then they have the merger and acquisition to F&N Dairies. That's why it's a big turning point on my career because my parents are quite conservative. So they, at that time, M&A is not much happen in Thailand. So they said that, oh, maybe you need to find some job that more stable. So that's why I shift from FMCG and then I got the job at Siam City Cement Group for the Conwood business unit. Yeah, that's the start career of my B2B background.
Wow. So it's interesting to know you've worked with some very, very recognizable brands and you've been in marketing since I was in school.
Since like 1998.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Primary school at the time. But yes, it's good to know about your background and the fact that you started in very, very B2C consumer-facing brands and then transitioned into
cement brand, which is very difficult or different.
But it's good to know that you've seen both ends of the spectrum when it comes to the B2C end of marketing and the B2B end of marketing. So it's kind of a very broad experience over the years.
Yeah, I think that for the B2B starting point, when I start the career, I start with the Thai company, right? For like almost 6 years. And then I have the career advancement to work with Saint-Gobain, the French company, for gypsum board, and then a little bit of the time with Tostem for window and door, and then I moved to Ecolab for the chemical company, but all to B2B segments, and then back to construction again to MicroFiber last 5 years ago as a business advisor in the beginning. So it would be like very shifting in terms of when you work in construction for quite a long time and then you work with the chemical, it's also different stakeholder. But at that time, I have experience to be the regional marketing director for Southeast Asia, Korea and India. So that's why I gain much more insight on the different markets that have different state of involvement. Because Ecolab is specialized for cleaning chemical for the food and beverage factories. So that's more working with the international brands again. So I think my past experience working in like Nestle or other B2C sector that's helped as well, because when we talk with the clients, we also know what they need or the importance of productivity that they need to deliver to the company and the customers.
It's interesting to know that a lot of the learnings from your B2C life were translatable to the B2B side, and within the B2B side you mentioned between chemical and construction it was also a big shift, which to an outsider is like it all looks like B2B, right? But the nuances of a chemical industry versus a construction industry on the ground might be very different. So interesting to know that. Now, within these years in marketing, I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes in terms of the medium, in terms of technology, in terms of how people travel, how they interact, how brands evolve, and then the rise of social media, and now the last couple of years, AI. So in this time, what have you seen that has changed a lot? And what fundamentals underlying do you find that irrespective of the change in technology, the fundamentals remain the same? So can you maybe give your experience on what has changed and what has never changed?
I think that for B2B approach, we still like much relying on the like traditional events. I would say like when you join the exhibition, go to the forum seminars with customers or like gathering events. And I think that the one we like to do more is more like interactive event with customers. Sometimes we do site visit outside of the construction industry to bring them to see the new things. And I think what would be changed is like when you talking about B2C, when you see a lot of like YouTuber influencers, right? That's what is also impact to the construction material as well. If you can have like, if you search for like insulation, you might find like they have the channel like Duke that they do a lot of like renovation, and then they have some like Lung Chang or something like or Nai Chang Ma Share or something like the influencer that really specific to the construction industrial. But it does happen like people are like they don't believe on what the brand say themselves, so they more believe on some trustworthy people or the influencer that not only advertise but really have the experience of using the product and can share the difference. So when we do advertorial, we don't do on only our brand, but it's more on the topic or expertise advice. So you can like what are how many types of insulation you have, or what is good or bad between glass wool, rock wool, stuff like that. So if you do the pure advertising on your own, I think that one is like maybe not, the engagement is quite low. So we try both. And also I would say what would be the different would be on the website, because a lot of people also like do SEO. We do some SEO with some of our clients as well, like One Stock Home that they very good in e-commerce. So we do the advertising with them, but more on the SEO, like when people search that can see our products, because I think that that's the behavior of customer change. Even the installers or the small contractor or the new interior designers or architects, they also don't want to call the sales representative. Normally they search on the website and what they see, and then if they really interested, they like path to purchase is different, so they might call you later stage when they are already interested in your product.
Interesting. That's fascinating to know. So there were 3 learnings that I derived from there. One is that there are a very niche category of B2B influencers that can be very impactful even in what people would consider a niche like construction. So that's interesting to know. The second you mentioned is the importance of being a thought leader in your industry, which is so instead of just trying to sell your construction material, just trying to be an expert in the field, show that you know your industry and you know the use cases of your product and what problems they're solving. So that's interesting to know. And third, you mentioned the change in buyer behavior. Instead of the traditional calls that maybe they were used to, they're now also searching online. So the importance of being present online and having a strong SEO and having a strong online presence. So these three puzzle pieces to B2B marketing is what
I think I also like learn a lot as well, because when I was in back to construction business, we do more on like expert interviews in the beginning, because we also want to know what have been changed with the customer in terms of the mind, how do they select the product, and what we can be enter like the touch points that we can like meet them easily, and then it just come to the simple idea that they still want something like they want to get more knowledge on your product, but not the traditional seminar that we just say, oh, this is microfiber insulation. But normally we try to get some like guest speaker, like to, like you said, to be the thought leader. So sometimes we invite acoustic specialist to be our guest speaker, or something about the carbon footprint, how the company have been shifted from the like only producing, but we also need to have like the EPD, the environmental declaration on our product, like how many carbon footprint we release when we produce our products as well. So that's, I think, something that similar to the consumer, that they more on the environmental care, so they like to know more on how you produce the product, what's the impact of the of your product to the environment. I think that that's something that maybe people think that B2B might not be considered, but also the owner or the like architects or the consultant also now moving upward to like European trend that they want like ask us whether how the test report we have or not, or what are the material you use to produce your product. So that's more like in depth that people would like to search for your product and want to know more on the details.
Interesting. Yes, it's reassuring to know that your customers now care about just stuff outside of just the product quality, right? So just your like you said, carbon footprint and impact you're having on the environment, which traditionally have been very European or Western values. But it's good to know that there's a shift in consumer preferences towards things that are more holistic and more sustainable in terms of their purchase preferences. It's very reassuring to know that. Now, you mentioned that you've worked regionally, right? So you've worked with international brands, you've worked with international customers. So within that, what unique characteristics, if I may call them that, have you seen between these specific markets? So obviously Thailand being the home base, and then you've mentioned working with Japan, India, even the Middle East, and the brands from the other side of the world as well. So what nuances have you seen in terms of the differences between these countries and these corporate cultures?
I think that for the clients or the overseas customer that we have, I think that the focus on the trading, like the company as a trading has become like very getting smaller and smaller. So right now our distributor, they more on the professional consultants. So it means that if people just only do trading, people now is like can search, right? So they don't they can buy the product themselves. So that's now when we looking for the distributor to work with, they need to have like the installation service. So when people come to you, you have like the added value to your end customer or to your local market. And more would be on like very, I think that because our product is quite niche, so some of our like customer overseas, like in Indonesia or in like Vietnam or some others mean that they are very specialized in the insulation. So they distribute different kinds of insulation, not only our product but also the product from Europe as well. So it means that people come to them as like acoustic specialists or maybe like insulation center. So they can offer variety of product to the end customers. So I think that the way you do business is not only finding the mass market, but you really need to know what your distributor is good at and then try to like complement our product to that level. So that's linked to the different product portfolio as well. Like some country we do, like in Hong Kong, we have the customer who do very advanced product like acoustic for interior, but for some like other markets like Vietnam market, they more focus on the basic need like the HVAC insulation for the air conditioning, because that's where people or the owner can save energy. Or some of the other like in Thailand, the trend is growing now with this product as well for decoration. So it's like the sound absorption product, and then for the like different segment we try to match with the customer. So in different country they have different stage of the insulation knowledge. So we don't have the one product that fit all for all of them, but we try to have like very focused product for them and try to help them to grow the business within the country.
So the understanding of where the market in a country is in terms of their level of understanding. So it's fascinating to know that you can tailor your go-to-market strategy or tailor your market offerings in that market based on that level. If I may maybe just ask a follow-up question on that, how do you typically find out about, for example, let's just say Thailand, right? So do you conduct like a market research, or how do you typically find out about the market's level of exposure to insulation?
I think that for me, I use a lot of LinkedIn.
I see.
So I do the LinkedIn subscription as well as the member, right? And then you can like search on like the people you want to know, and I send my team to the LinkedIn training for HR, and then they can like apply that knowledge. That instead of searching candidate, we also searching for like expert interviews. So if you can see now, it's like I think it's more easy tools that maybe you only do the subscription maybe for 6 months to get more like followers or following that you want to get the lead. Like it's that like similar to lead generations, right? But we don't do on that way, but we more on doing expert interviews, because we are the small, I think small to medium size. So our revenue is like 500 million baht per annum. So not comparing to the big company that they can hire like the research agency, right? So normally we have the BD team, and then especially like right now the trend of data center is like going well in like Southeast Asia region, right? So we try to like search for the people who do data center, and then try to talk with them like what are the building codes that they require, what are the requirements that they need for insulation, or what are the trend of the wall system or the ceiling product as the whole total. So that's why we try to like understand more on customer before approaching them. So I think we not looking at as manufacturers, but we try to think what are the target market that we want to capture, and then we talk to those like specific stakeholder, and once we understand them, sometime later on at the end we might ask them, so what are the shop or the people you buy the product from, and then we later on approach to those customer. So that's why that we try to use I think I learned from the consumer approach, that you talk with the end consumer who really use your product, right? Because sometimes in the B2B marketing, when people are born from B2B, they more focus on the product benefit, but sometimes they forget about the customer. So we try to encourage our sales team or the BD team to understand that if this product whom do you want, which kind of project you want to sell with, like maybe department store, hospital, or like international school. So you try to not to talk with the agent or distributor, because the agent or distributor always like talk on price and service, right? So sometimes you can like find more insightful information from the end user who really use your product. Yeah, so that's the typical approach that I try to like encourage the team to do it.
It's just very interesting. It's almost like doing your own in-house qualitative research. Right? So I think it's a very healthy approach, and like I said, it's just getting straight down to the end user, because they are the ones who are actually experiencing your product.
Or sometimes you know why they don't use your product as well.
Absolutely, yes. So I think that is a great advice. I think, and that applies not just to building materials, but any B2B industry, because like you said, B2B, people tend to focus a lot more, hey, this is the solution and this is
our technical.
Correct. So it's too much focus on the technology and the solution, and not enough focus on the real problems and the people for whom you are solving the problem. So I think that's if there's one good insight from this discussion that I want people to take away, it's that the end consumer is where the real valuable information lies.
Yeah.
So thanks for that insight. Now, within your experience, especially in the B2B field, what common mistakes have you seen marketers make when they're approaching marketing? One, obviously, you mentioned is too much focus on the product and solution versus what the end consumer feels. But outside of that, have you seen any common
I think
mistakes?
that the common mistake would be on like for people who like really keen on the manufacturing side. So sometimes our R&D have like different ideas of the product. I think the NPD stage may be not strong as the consumer product, because when I work in consumer or when I work back to Ecolab, it's more like they very focus on the state gate, right? On the NPD process. But I think for like B2B product, is like the life cycle is so long.
Right.
So sometimes when you have like the new idea, maybe you afraid that it will cannibalize your old products. So sometimes maybe it's like the NPD process is too slow. And I think that's something that for us we try, because we are like more on the medium size, so we can move faster. So sometimes we want to encourage the people to try on the smaller scale first. Like if you have new product, instead of like doing to everywhere. For example, like we have the new roofing insulation. So that's one we only focus on the warehouse customer. So to get the idea on the feedback on the specific segment before we apply to others, that may be more like fruitful, because sometimes if the typical old day is mean that when you have new product, you normally go to the architect exhibition, right? And you want to sell to everyone, and then because you don't study good enough, and then instead of having the successful launch, so sometimes you ask the sales team to present the product to all types of customer, you get like different requirements, and then as a manufacturing we cannot serve all the requirement. So right now we not only for export that we try to segment it different for each country, even within our domestic market we also try to highlight the product that suit for customer need for the NPD launch as well. So at least we learn from the use case, and then we can come back and then improve our product. So I think that is the one that you need to like move a bit faster.
I see.
Yeah.
So faster feedback loops essentially, and it's good
it's more agile, right?
True, absolutely. And the fact that your new product development and your marketing team are able to sort of work hand in hand, because from a technical standpoint, I think it's the manufacturing team and the R&D team that maybe does a lot of the heavy lifting, but the marketing team almost acts like a testing ground for them to immediately get customer feedback, because without that customer feedback they will be working in a silo, which could be dangerous.
I think the way we change is that normally before we separate, right? Normally the front team go to see customer and get feedback, And then normally the R&D team or the technical guy also say that they don't hear by themselves. So sometimes they have some arguments. So like sometimes like for Indonesia market, we try to open the automotive insulation. So at that time we bring the R&D manager to go with the export sales team as well, because then when they can help to present our like credential to the new customer, and then if customer getting feedback, so they can bring those feedback to talk with other like production team or other teams. So it's more on the like teamwork, and then the cross-functional group that they need to work together. So it means that if we do separately, it will be always the fights, like the sales team, finance team, production team, logistic team. But now we try to do like more on the project base.
Interesting. Yeah, that I think is a very healthy approach to just making sure that there are no walls and silos being built between different departments and different functions. So yeah, that I think that is also a very good learning, especially for manufacturing, where R&D can get very expensive if you're not careful about getting customer feedback on time.
I think because I think I would say that the test fee for the manufacturing, like for 5 tests or something, is quite expensive. Because you don't have the lab you don't have the Thailand lab. So normally we send to the TÜV, which is a European institution that they based in Thailand. But the price is very high. So that's why we have to be careful before we enter that what kind of tests we need.
Interesting. That's I think a great takeaway as well. Now, coming to what is perhaps the final question, which is your advice. So a lot of the people who will be listening to this episode are either in like very early stage founders or
maybe
starting
like the startup.
Correct. So what advice would you give to somebody when they're starting up, especially from a marketing standpoint, because there's so much information out there that people...
A lot of social media platforms.
True. So many social media platforms, and there's like so many books and resources and videos, and everybody's giving all sorts of advice about using AI and things like that. So if there's like one condensation of some basic principles that people should follow, do you have any advice for our audience?
I think for us, I think that each product that you have might have like different target customer, right? I think it's come to the basic information that you need to really understand their behavior. So if like sometimes you read a lot of books and then a lot of things to be followed, but at the end it's come to your customer, whether like if they are doing like if they like to like flip on the TikTok or YouTube video, or some like others like social media that really link to them. Because for us in the beginning, our team also like tell me that, oh, why you don't do TikTok channel? And then I would say that TikTok is might be more on like entertaining. If people want to see like the benefits or to know your product, maybe not is something is popular might not be a good platform to your audience. So I think it will be come to the end like how you understand deeply about the path to purchase of your audience, and then at the end you can select the right channel that fit with your clients.
Makes sense. So for everybody who is listening, understand your customer's path to purchase before you dive into everything under the sun in marketing. So
you can not do everything at once, right?
Yeah, and especially early stage people get very overwhelmed that, hey, I need to do LinkedIn, and I need to do TikTok, and I need to do Instagram, and I need to do Facebook, and I need to go to events, and I need to so it becomes very overwhelming. But you're right, if you have a good understanding of what steps your customer goes through to make that purchase, and if you make good decisions along those steps, I think that is very, very valuable advice. So perfect. So I think this, especially from a marketing standpoint or B2B marketing standpoint, has been a very, very fascinating conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time, sharing your insights, and hopefully we'll have more off-camera conversations about.
Yeah, maybe we can have the next episode on other topics together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you taking the time, and we look forward to the next episode already.
Okay, thank you so much for coming as well.
My pleasure. Thanks to everybody who tuned in, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.